Welcome to the Unaffiliated Creatives Podcast, a show where independent artists can learn from other independent artists. My name is kaeveryday, and each week I will be speaking with some of the most creative minds in the indie music space, trying to figure out what they have learned while navigating through the music industry without the support of major record labels. This podcast is brought to you by the good people over at King Neppy Studios and powered by Red Weasel Media. Tuning in to the Unaffiliated Creators Podcast. I'm your host, kaeveryday. This is the indie artist safe place, so take off your shoes, get comfortable, and stay a while. Do us a favor and please rate the show. And if you have any feedback for us, please email us at unaffiliatedcreatives@gmail.com. The track you heard playing was a track titled Vanilla Honey by indie artist Dr. Igor. Now that everybody is taking off their shoes and getting comfortable, Igor, what you been up to?
Been doing good, man. Just been making my music, producing lots of songs with local Boston artists. I'm here in the city right now, getting ready to go on tour. First tour stop is going to be in Toronto, so I'm just getting ready for that. That's the whole plan right now.
Oh, so you about to go on tour, man. So when you hit Toronto, tell Drake I said, what's up, man?
I'm going to holler at Drake. I'm going to let him know. Got to get on the podcast.
All right. So let me start off by asking you this. So how did you come up with your stage name?
The stage name, it was something that I developed when I used to be in California. When I used to stay in California, because the whole Dr. Dre, Eazy-E, West Coast, NWA, Straight Outta Compton movement. So then I got that name because I was a big fan of the West Coast hip hop scene. And that's where I was at the time, right? So then I made a couple projects under that name. And then I came back to the East Coast, back to Boston. Then I just started collecting vinyl records, comic books, magazines, vintage posters, and then from there on, I got more deeper and deeper into the creative side of production and vocal recording, and then hence the mask came from that, from the Kung Fu and the Lucha Libre movies that I loved the most.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna get into the mask a little later. So let me ask you this question. So when I hear you talk, it sounds like you have an accent. So with that being said, where are you from originally?
I can't disclose that information. That's what makes the mystery more interesting, right?
Oh, so now I'm gonna have to go the rest of my life trying to guess where you came from, huh? Okay. I can respect that, man. Like I said, I can hear the accent, so I was like, that sounds like he might not be from around here. So let me. I got you. All right. So let me ask you this. So, and you kind of was just talking about it, but I was just going to ask you what inspired you to start wearing the wrestling mask, but you kind of just talked about it. But along with the wrestling thing, because I'm really intrigued by that, are you into the Griselda movement? And the reason why I'm asking you this, because I don't know if you familiar with this or not, Griselda, they're really into the wrestling thing as well. So I was just wondering, are you really locked in with the Griselda movement?
Yeah, I like their sound. I think they have a very unique sound, and I think I would say that we're definitely related artists because our sound is very similar, right? Because we're about the same era of hip hop anyway. So I feel like we have lots of similarities in our sound, especially when it comes to the whole wrestling side of things. I feel like we interconnect in that point, But I like their sound. They have a very unique sound. I give that to them, Pioneers, they have their very unique sound. I give it to them for that, Really good guys, yeah.
All right. So I wasn't even prepared to ask you this, but since you seem like you know a little bit about Griselda and that whole movement, out of the whole cast of characters that they have over there, which one would you say is the best?
I don't want to pick one because I know my fans going to hit me for that. But I would say the trio is the best. All together is what makes the world go round,
Oh, so when they all come together like Voltron, huh? That's when they're the strongest, huh?
But for sure, like I would say my biggest influence would be MF Doom. That's for sure my biggest influence. MF Doom, Madlib, MF Doom, Peanut Butter Wolf, that whole cast, J Dilla. That era of hip hop influenced me the most, I would say.
Yeah, I've been hearing some of the J Dilla in your style, so I figured that. So let me ask you this before we move on. So since you wear the wrestling mask and you're very into wrestling, I just had to ask you this question. So who is your favorite wrestling character, and explain why?
Rey Mysterio. It gotta be Rey Mysterio. The man could do acrobatics that I've never seen in my life. And until today, I still watch those videos and I'm like, how is he even doing this? My God, like this man is incredible. So it's a real life superhero right there. So very inspiring, man. Very inspiring.
All right. So since you shared your answer with me, I share mine, and I might be dating myself a little bit. So my favorite wrestling character was actually the Junkyard Dog. So he was back in the 80s.
Wow.
So I'm kind of sharing my age a little bit. So when I was growing up as a kid, I actually enjoyed watching wrestling. Like I said, he was my favorite character. But I'm gonna be honest, I kind of stopped watching wrestling because I think I had a cousin or something that at some point basically told me that wrestling wasn't real. See, now when I was a kid, I thought it was real.
Messed you up.
Yeah. So when they told me that it was kind of staged and they already know who they want to win, it took the fun out of wrestling for me. But so ever since that day, I stopped watching wrestling. So.
Yeah, it's the same thing. If I tell you where I'm from with the mask, then you kind of don't. You feel it loses the.
Oh, it loses the mystique a little bit.
Yeah, this is the mystical side of thing.
I got you.
Yeah, that's why you enjoyed wrestling so much, because it was like watching a movie, right? So it's the same concept,
Gotcha. All right. So you play music live at events. So most people would consider you a DJ, but
Correct.
What would you classify yourself as?
I would say I'm a performing artist, because that being a DJ, I would say I did DJ a lot before, but because now I actually sample and make my own beats, then it requires me to be more performing wise. I'm actually performing the beats that I'm making, hand making the beats. So then I'm actually performing the sound live. I'm not just playing an MP3 off a DJ device, right? I'm actually performing. I'm actually hitting the buttons. I'm remixing it live. I'm remixing the vocals live, extending the sound, flipping reverse, digitally, like retouching the sound in the live set,
Okay.
So I did a show last Saturday, yes, correct, at Paul's Place. I did a 45-minute set performance there. It was my best performance so far, I would say, for sure.
So your last performance is always your best performance. So the next show you do, you probably gonna say that's the best one.
That's so true.
I know how this works, man. All right, so let me ask you this. So you kind of brought it up when we first started the podcast, but can you take a few minutes to talk to us about this world tour that you're about to go on and kind of explain as much as you can, because I know you like to keep some things kind of keep us in the dark a little bit, but can you explain kind of like how that works and how you even went about even being able to go on a world tour?
Yeah, this is about to be my second tour, because my first tour, I went to Philippines, Japan, and Brazil. And the last part of the tour, I was supposed to go into Australia, so that had to be canceled. So I might have to go back there again for the third tour. But this is the second tour. It's the World Peace Tour, so I'm going to be touching more on the other side of the hemisphere now, which is like Europe, Africa, mostly Europe and Africa, and maybe stop by Toronto, Kenya, Spain, Germany, if everything works out, Germany. And then let me see, Germany, Spain, and a couple other spots that I have in mind. South Africa, if we get the chance. But yeah, pretty much what it is. This time I'm trying to go as a group of friends, like that actually do music, that we actually working on the project together, working on the albums together. For the volume 2. So for volume 2, this is the design.
I like that.
For the tour. Yeah, so for volume 2, I'm gonna go as a group of friends. So right now I'm still like getting the right artists to go together with me to perform on stage so we can actually give people a performance around the world. You know?
All right. So let me ask you this question. So you've been creating a beat every day so far this year. So with that being said, what made you want to challenge yourself to even create a beat a day?
The Vita Day challenge was because it was my first time getting my hands on an MPC device, because everything I used to record before was computer made, right? So then it was great that I was able to use the computer to create sounds, right? But it wasn't really, I wasn't really actually creating the sound like with my hands. I wasn't, there was a missing element there. So then when I bought the MPC, I was like, listening to MF Doom and Griselda and all these guys, they actually sample vinyl records. So then I start sampling vinyl. And then from there on, I decided to give myself that challenge. Like, let me try this 100-day challenge. Because I saw somewhere somebody told me if you do something for 100 days, you'd become really good at that. So I was like, all right, let me post 100 videos. So today makes day 85 out of 100. And then I got to the point where like I was able to record all the vocals straight into the MPC, and all the songs are mixed and engineered inside of the machine itself. So I don't have no computers whatsoever. Everything is inside the box, all the vocals and everything. Editing and mixing, live performance, everything is all done inside the box. So, yeah.
Well, I will say, going with that premise, you've been wearing a wrestling mask every day, so I would say that makes you a professional wrestler as well, right?
The moment I go on tour again, that makes me a professional wrestler. Yes. If I'm going on tour with a mask on, yes, that's correct.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you just brought up those other skill sets. So that kind of leads me into my next question. So you're also a music producer and a recording artist. So if you could only choose to do one thing for the rest of your life, which one would you choose and explain why?
From a producer and a recording artist?
So if you had to choose between being a music producer, a recording artist, or a DJ, which one would you pick and choose?
Ooh, I would definitely say performing artist / DJ. Yeah, because at least there's a big difference when we record inside, because we're thinking a lot, we're writing, we're making sure the lyrics are on point, the edits, everything is on point. But when you do it live in front of people, there's an element of like seeing the crowd react to what you're doing for them. It's very different because one performance can change somebody's life, can really inspire somebody else to go and start making music, or go and start painting, or go and actually like deal with their problems in their life, and you give them that motivation. Because in a way, we're like superheroes. Musicians were superheroes, and then we're like the jester that we dance in front of the kings and queens, right? But in real life, we also are the superheroes, because we are bringing the element of the surprise and happiness, and give them motivation to keep going in their career and their life as well. Motivate people to keep going. So that's the element that we don't want to miss.
All right. So let me ask you this question. What is your bucket list item when it comes to being a performer, artist / DJ?
Bucket list item, definitely an MPC 2000. I would definitely want to get one of them classic MPCs, OG MPCs, the ones that Pete Rock and DJ Premier used, and the SP1200s, like the classic machines that they were using back in the day, them big ass machines, So I want to learn how to make music with those, because it's been such a part of hip hop so many years. So I feel like as a student of hip hop, I have to learn how to like get my hands on one of those and how to use them as well. Go back in time and educate myself.
All right, so that wasn't a bad bucket list item. Let me ask you this. So give me your top 5 DJs, dead or alive, and you can put them in any order.
DJ Jesse Jeff, DJ Pete Rock, Just Blaze, DJ Premier, of course, the one and only Grandmaster Flash, #1 Grandmaster Flash, And let's see, and myself, of course. I gotta add me to the list, low key.
Hey, I like that. It's funny that you did that, because a lot of time when I interview artists and I ask them to give me a top 5, most of them don't put themselves in the top 5 because they say, you know, I don't know if it's like a humble thing, or they're just like, no, I wouldn't want to consider myself in the top 5 because those other people are just like the best or the greatest, whatever. But I was trying to say that a lot of times to even be an artist, you have to kind of be confident enough in your abilities to think that you are, you know, at the top of your game, even if everybody else
at that regular level.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to tell yourself that, to wake up in the morning and keep pushing yourself. But like the other morning, I had no motivation whatsoever. At 10 minutes later, I got a message that a fan that I met at the show reposted my video that I literally dropped, and nobody was really liking the video. So my motivation was super low. But my fan reposted it and sent me a message like, oh, thank you for sending this song, because it motivates me to go to work today, motivates me to get up, motivates me to brush my teeth, fix my hair, put myself together and go out. And your music is the soundtrack to my life right now. So when you hear messages like that, it gives you motivation. Then you realize, like, you as an artist, it's not you as a person is separate from you as an artist. The artist itself is a whole entire movement of energy. So we have to make sure you put that out in the most positive manner as well, you know? So putting yourself up front, sometimes you have to put that artist up front and give that motivation, because you know, that little push pushes other people around you. It's like the ripple effect, you know? So I want to make sure to do that. You know what I'm saying? Got to gas myself up a little bit.
All right. So since you shared your top 5, I was going to try to take a stab at it. Now, I'm not a DJ and I'm not familiar with the space as much as you are. So you probably going to think my list is crazy and all over the place, but I'm just going to try to come up with 5 DJs. So my 5, I came up with Diplo, DJ Snake, DJ Khaled,
DJ Khaled, yes,
Jam Master Jay, and K Tronado.
K Tronado, of course.
Yeah, so
amazing.
Yeah, so that was,
K Tronado, yeah, it's another level.
So that's my 5. So now that you done gave me 5, so now I really got to put you on the hot seat now. So who would you say is the greatest DJ of all time?
That's Grandmaster Flash. That has to be Grandmaster Flash. It has to be Grandmaster. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. He sonically changed the whole planet. Like, that's crazy. That he's like, yeah, you gotta be Grandmaster Flash. They ain't no. Yeah, the adventures of it has to be Grandmaster Flash. Sonically, like, everybody was. He definitely, I would say, Grandmaster Flash, for sure.
Yeah, he was kind of like one of the pioneers of the whole DJing scene, right?
Yes, he was doing it because he was still young, and definitely pioneer right there. Yeah, pioneer.
All right, so if you would, take a few minutes and talk to us about your mixtape titled Kushville.
Kushville was the first mixtape we did. I decided to create that tape because, like, I feel like I just wanted to go into this experiment. Like, is it possible for me to make songs with this device? Because everybody else that had the same device was just like making beats with it or whatever, posting on YouTube. I was like, no, I want to make whole songs with this device. And then what ended up happening, I went to some reading. I started reading lots of comic books, movies, watching lots of kung fu movies, and words and ideas start coming to my head. And next thing you know, I'm here producing this album. And some of my friends came by and they're like listening to this stuff. They're like, this is incredible. I want to be part of this project. Next thing you know, I found a Lucha Libre mask inside of a vinyl record that I was digging. And then I opened the vinyl record. There was a Lucha Libre mask in there. I was like, nah, it had to be. I had to put it on. And then I put it on. Next thing you know, I felt like the mask really led me into creating this project. It's such amazing adventure so far for me. I'm loving it.
All right, so now that you've explained your mixtape, well, I gotta ask this question. Do you have your equipment on right now? I mean, if you got your equipment on, all right, well, if you want to, man, go ahead and give us a quick live session so we can see you in action.
Quick live session right now, guys. Let's see what we got here. Just give me 1 second, guys. Let's set it up real
Let's
quick.
get a man a second, man. He trying to get us up together, man. He about to give us a live session.
Okay, y'all not gonna be hearing me for a second. I'm gonna connect you guys right into the system. Let's go. Okay, here we go.
All right, y'all heard the doctor. Y'all heard the man banging on the pads. He wanted to get his hands dirty. Yeah.
There you go, guys.
Yeah, you was zoned out.
Life performance.
Yeah, you was in the zone
so
right
that's
there.
How I do it. That's how I do it, man. Making them beats every day. Then I write some lyrics down, make sure my lyrics inside, and then I make the songs. You know what I mean? Recording to the machine itself with the microphone. And then, yes, man. Yes, sir.
All right, bro. I appreciate you taking the time to give us that live session. That's nobody's ever done that before, so you the first, man. You made history today.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
But before I forget,
that's a little touch.
Let me
Igor on the beat. You already know.
Oh, I like that. He had to put your tag. I like that. But before I forget, let me ask you this question. What made you want to start selling merch?
Merch was like something that I decided to do very recent because I used to play live shows with a lot of bands. I would open up for a lot of rock bands, and I noticed rock bands always had stickers and T-shirts and things like that. And then it made me start getting into creating my own merch. They inspired me to create my own merch because they're like, yeah, as an artist, it's hard for like your fans to be able to support you. So merch is something that it's something that they can hold on to as a memory, but at the same time, it's something that they can do to help you go to that next level to get the equipment that you need and get certain details like the trip, or if something in the equipment stops working, replacement, you know what I mean? So it's a really important part as artists to get your merch together. And it's not just merch, but also putting the whole image together and the sound that goes well with the merch, if that makes any sense, you know? So that's why I have the comic book style art to go with the merch. I'm doing a giveaway, actually. I'm giving away 100 T-shirts. So people are signing up. So far, out of 60 people out of 100 have signed up to get their free gear. Everybody's going to get a free T-shirt at the end of the tour, you know? So yeah.
Right.
Doing a giveaway.
Hey man, the man giving, you know, he giving back, man. He giving T-shirts out, man.
Yeah, man.
So the premise of this podcast is independent artists learning from other independent artists. So with that being said, what mistakes, if any, have you made so far in your career that other people can learn from?
Mistakes, doubting yourself, doubting your skills, doubting that you can do better, you know, because a lot of times as musicians, we make one error, we fail one time, and then we just stay away. We go back into our own little worlds, right? And then learn to absorb and to educate yourself with your own errors whenever you mess up, you know, whenever you do something wrong, and learn from that. And also learn how to apologize to your friends and to people that you work with if you know you're out of line, or you know that I do understand as a man we have pride, but a lot of times we have to be able to apologize to friends and family and let them know like, hey, like I was out of line, and apologize for that. And even if other artists doing shows or anything happens and then they give you a bad attitude, a bad energy, don't let that get to your head. It's just a momentarily thing, you know, because you don't know what the other person is going through in their mind, you know. So we have to respect that. You have to respect them. They're artists too. We don't, you know, there's music comes from their struggle too, right? So, you know, so that's why I'm learning from that.
All right. Take a few minutes to talk about anything that you want the audience to know that we haven't talked about for whatever reason.
Okay, audience. Let's see. Little things, little details about me. I love ice cream. I love ice cream. I'm getting into working out. That's why I'm trying to let that go. I'm getting into working out. That's the next phase. I feel like physically we should all be on point, especially the way the world is right now. So that's one thing. Can't be just rocking a wrestling mask without being you know what I mean? So I have to look tight. Another thing, yeah. I hope people start getting into collecting vinyl, because with the new era of digital, everything getting digitalized, there's a lot of pop art that we're going to be losing in the next 5 years. Posters are going to be disappearing. A lot of things are going to be disappearing. Stickers, posters. It's going to be all outdated vinyl. So all these things, I've been collecting them to make comic books, especially comic books. All of that is going to disappear because everything's so digital now that, you know, we're going to lose a lot of pop art. A lot of art is going to be getting lost through time. So make sure you preserve what you have. Don't just be throwing away everything. Make sure you analyze what you're throwing away in your life, and make sure you see what is valuable to you and to others as well, right?
So I got to ask you this question since you just brought up ice cream. So when you do get a chance to enjoy ice cream, do you eat the ice cream with your mask on?
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. No, I got to take out the mask. I don't want to damage you can't damage the estate of the mask.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to.
I didn't know if you was one of them guys that just like to stay in character all the time. So no matter what you're doing, if you taking a shower, you got the
Just to
mask
make
on.
sure he's not gone cuckoo all the way through. Yeah, I got you. I'm still good. I'm still good. I got
Oh
you.
man! All right.
Oh, man.
Well, take a few minutes to tell the audience where they can find you online.
Okay, guys, online I'm on TikTok, Spotify, all social medias. Dr. Igor Beats. Dr. Igor Beats on all social medias.
All right.
And hope DM me, guys. Don't just follow me, like my stuff. Like, actually DM me. I always respond because I'm 24/7 getting messages for collaboration. So I'm always responding messages at 24/7. I never sleep. So I'm always awake. I'm ready to go at any time. So hit me up.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you taking time to come on the show. Try to get some sleep and challenge
Yes,
yourself.
sir.
Challenge yourself to try to eat ice cream with the mask on at least once.
Oh, okay. It's a challenge. Let's go. It's a challenge. All right. That's all good.
All right, man. You enjoy the rest of your day.
You too, man. Thank you for having me on your show. Great show. Thank you so much.
Hey, I'll be talking to you soon.
Shout out to all the creatives out there. Shout out to all the creatives in the world.
All right.
Respect.
All right. Take it easy.